Hello. So today is my Friday. So it's actually Thursday right after midnight. No, it's Wednesday after midnight. So I just had my shift on Tuesday and then I finished work. Now I have the next 2 days off. So I have Wednesday and Thursday off. So I was like, oh, cool. Now's a pretty good time to make a video. So I want to talk about the promo cards that were included with BT14 Blast Ace. So quickly, we have these 6 training cards. So we have a training in every color. So we have red, blue, yellow, green, black, and purple. The only color that we don't really have a training for is white. So the 6 main colors, I should say. We have this Imperialdramon Dragon Mode Ace promo. This was included with the demo deck that was supposed to be given out with each booster box purchase. So if you got your booster box, then you should have gotten a demo deck. So Imperialdramon Dragon Mode Ace. That demo deck also comes with 4 other promos, being the Veemon promo, Ukkomon promo, Motomiya promo, and Lui Ohwada promo. And then inside the Blast Ace booster box, you should have gotten a 3rd anniversary survey pack, and it has 1 out of 6 promos. So it has the promo Shadramon or promo Knightmon, promo Morphomon, promo RustTyrannomon ACE, promo Diaboromon ACE, or SkullKnightmon promo. So quickly, I just want to talk about the promos that were included with the BT14 box, or I should say were released alongside BT14, because like some promos were not in the box. But anyways, I want to talk about these promos really quickly. In particular, today I want to talk about the 3rd anniversary survey pack promos. So I will mostly gloss over the other promos because I really want to pay attention to these 6 in particular: Shadramon, Knightmon, Morphomon, RustTyrannomon ACE, Diaboromon ACE, and SkullKnightmon. So, very quickly. So, the training cards, they're nice. So, they have basically the same effect, but for their respective color. Reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. Add 1 red card among them to your hand. Of course, if this is the red training, then the yellow training would add the yellow card. Just substitute red for whichever color training you're using. So reveal top 2 cards of your deck, add 1 color card among them to the hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order, then place this card in the battle area. So you use this option for 2, then you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, you add 1 card of the same color as the option card, and then you put that to your hand. So, okay, cool. You use this for 2, you search top 2, grab a card of the same color. That seems nice. Main delay. One of your Digimon may digivolve into a same color as the option Digimon card in your hand for its digivolution cost. When it would digivolve by this effect, reduce the cost by 2. So this is pretty interesting. So let's break this part down. One of your Digimon may digivolve into a same color as the option card Digimon card in your hand for its digivolution cost. So since this is the red option, then one of your Digimon may digivolve into a red Digimon for 2 less costs. So interestingly, you can use this even if you go from, for example, a green Digimon into a red Digimon, which is kind of strange, but you could do that. Because since you are going into a red Digimon, you could use this targeting the green Digimon about to go into a red Digimon card. Because you don't have to target one of your Digimon that is the same color as this option. You have to target a Digimon that is going to go into the next stage or whatever it is digivolving into that is the same color as this option. So for example, you could use defense training on your yellow Seraphimon to reduce costs of going into black Seraphimon, because black Seraphimon is black. But yeah, going back to how I feel about these cards are nice. So they basically let you cycle through the deck easy more easily. So you use it for 2, but then later on you can digivolve for 2 less. So basically the net cost of this card becomes 0. So when you use it for 2, you can look more into your deck. So this is kind of like why I use From Master to Disciple in my Royal Knights deck. Just being able to cycle through the cards to find the missing pieces that you really want is pretty useful. For example, I can imagine this card being used in a lot of tower stacks if you're looking for a specific card. So for example, if you want to go with a specific level 5 for your stack, and you're like, oh cool, I want to find, for example, BT14 because I want to ignore security options from activating. So you're like, oh cool, I want to base my deck around this card, but you only have 4 copies of those. So, you could place offense training in your deck, so then you would just use this to help you dig for that Aldemon. So offense training and the other trainings I can see being used in decks because you can have more consistency that way. So in a 50 card deck, it's going to be tough to find the piece that you need, especially if it's a combo piece and you want to rely on that piece specifically. But if you have the trainings, and then you can fill up 4 of the card slots with them, basically use them for 2, but then you can gain 2 back later. So for a net 0 in the long run, you can use this card and then help cycle for the combo pieces that you really want to find. So these cards add more consistency to decks if you want to find specific cards. So that's pretty nice. And sometimes you just want to use 2 memory, just because, oh cool, a lot of cards cost 3, or they are 3 to digivolve into, or 4 to digivolve into. So if you want to manipulate your memory, so say you are at 1 memory and then use this for 2, you can put your opponent at 1 for the instance of memory choking them. Or if you want to play like a Mega Zeus style, or not even Mega Zeus style, you want to digivolve into something that's 4 cost or whatever. Let's say you are at 3 and then your opponent has a memory setter. You want to digivolve into something that's 4 cost, but if you do so, then your opponent will go to 1 and then they'll be set to 3 memory because of their memory setter. So basically you're going to lose 2 memory. You could just use a training. So if you're at 3, use a training, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Okay, cool. You add 1 same card to your hand, same color card to your hand, and then now you're at 1. Now you can digivolve for 4, put your opponent at 3. So after their turn, they will be set to 3 anyways, so basically they don't get any memory off of their memory setter. And then on a subsequent turn, you can just use the training to reduce cost by 2. So then that way, instead of losing 2 memory from your opponent being able to gain 2 memory from the memory tamer, you are now playing more efficiently because you're using up as much memory as you can before your opponent gets set to 3. So the training cards are useful. They help you to dig through your deck for some specific cards that you might want, but being 2 costs themselves, 2 costs can easily fill in some niche, no, not niche, they can fill in some gaps for you when you're using memory efficiently. So again, with the 4 Digivolution cost example, they can easily help you to not give your opponent too much memory, but then since you did use this card, you will also get the added benefit of cycling through the next cards of your deck to just dig for a card that you might want, and then you can just pop this later to reduce costs by 2. This is also pretty good if hidden security. So if this is hidden security, then on a later turn, you can just easily digivolve up the levels, because now you don't really need to invest as much memory into going from a level 3 to a level 6. So level 3 to level 4 usually costs 2. Level 4 to level 5 could cost 2, could cost 3, could cost 4, depending on the card. Now, if you have this offense training, you can just reduce cost by 2, so you can go to level 5 pretty easily. and then level 5, just go to level 6. Even if you pass turn, now you're at level 6, into possibly a Digimon that has a Blitz ability or a really good when Digivolving ability that you want to get off that turn, or even just being something that's more difficult for your opponent to remove. So even with just one offense training, it will be easier for you to build your stack. So yeah, these cards are pretty good if you want to cycle for some pieces in your deck, or they're even pretty good just to have if you want to manipulate your memory in some way. But yeah, these are pretty good. There's a lot more nuance to them, but I will not talk about the nuance in this video because it will probably take a long time. So let's move on to Imperialdramon Dragon Mode ACE, and then subsequently let's talk about these other demo deck promos. So interestingly, this is promo 109, and then it comes right before Shadramon, but just because these are the promos in the demo deck, I will talk about them all in order. So the Imperialdramon Dragon Mode ACE, I don't really like this card. Like, it seems like it's an okay effect, but it doesn't really seem useful for most situations. So, for example, you can Blast Digivolve this from your blue or green level 5. You can regular Digivolve this from level 5 blue or green for 4, or from Imperialdramon or Diaboromon for 3. On play and when Digivolving, suspend one Digimon, then unsuspend one Digimon. So it seems not really that good. All turns effect, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, you may play one Tamer card or one Digimon card with 4000 DP or less from your hand without paying the cost. So it's like, oh, cool. So you can on-play this for 7, or you can Blast Digivolve this. You can suspend itself, and then when this Digimon becomes suspended, you may play one Tamer card or Digimon card with 4000 DP or less without paying the cost. So you on-play or one Digivolve this, suspend itself, finish the rest of the effect, unsuspend itself, but because this card was suspended, then this all turns once per turn effect will trigger, and then after it finishes that effect, then you can play out a free Tamer or a Digimon of 4000 DP or less, which so happens to be Veemon, Veemon. They're like 4000, no, not Stingmon or Veemon. They're just 4000 DP or less. The ones that you really want to use anyways in Imperialdramon. So you could play your level 4 and level 3s out without paying costs, but even then it doesn't seem like it adds much value to the deck. Like when I see Blast Digivolve, I know for sure that I would rather use Diaboromon ACE. Like, to me, I like Diaboromon ACE more than I like Imperialdramon Dragon Mode. So if you are playing a green deck and then you have like a green level 5, oh cool, you can suspend a Digimon, unsuspend a Digimon. So you could target Dragon Mode ACE, suspend itself, unsuspend itself. So then you can get out a Tamer for free, or you can get out a Digimon for free. Or you can suspend this Digimon and then unsuspend one of your other blockers, for example. But then you can still get a Tamer or Digimon out for free. Or you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon that has not attacked yet, or they just attacked and they unsuspended, but you could stop them from getting one more attack in. 2 more attacks in, maybe if you suspend one of their Digimon and unsuspend one of your blockers. But I just like Diaboromon ACE more. So this is soon to come out in EX5. So on play when Digivolving, this can Blast Digivolve off of a level 5 green. So basically, if you are playing the Imperialdramon Dragon Mode ACE, then you could very easily substitute this Diaboromon ACE in if you are playing green cards. So on play when Digivolving, for each of your Digimon with a Deva or 4 Sovereigns trait, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So, this Imperialdramon Dragon Mode ACE does suspend a Digimon. It can suspend itself, but most likely you would want to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. If, you're Blast Digivolving this is probably what you want to do it for. Then all of your opponent's Digimon don't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. So this seems like, oh, cool. You can get some tempo with this card. You can play out a level 4 or lower Digimon. You can play out a Tamer. But I don't really know why you would kind of want to do that. Maybe if it's like early game, then you would want to. But Diaboromon ACE seems also really good for early or late game. So you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon because you have this Diaboromon ACE. And even if you just have the one, then you suspend one of their Digimon. So assuming that you have no other sovereigns, you can just suspend one. If you have more, then better. But just assuming that you have this one, suspend one, and then your opponent's Digimon don't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. So this seems like a really good effect. Even if you just suspend that one, and then they have other Digimon that are suspended from already attacking, or if they suspended it for an effect, like if you're playing against Bloomlord and then they have some suspended Digimon out, then if you have this Diaboromon ACE, this is like a pseudo Quartzmon effect. Not quite Quartzmon, but it's like, oh, cool. All of your suspended Digimon don't unsuspend during your next unsuspend phase, and then you can easily just go over their blockers. You can go over their Digimon. But yeah, this is a pretty neat effect. I just personally like Diaboromon ACE more. And then on deletion, delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. So this is also pretty nice. This is a pseudo removal spell. So let's say your opponent attacks into your green level 5 Digimon. You blast Digivolve into Diaboromon ACE. You suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And then if this DP is lower than your opponent's Digimon, this will be deleted. And then you can delete one of their Digimon. You will have the overflow -4, but it's like, oh, cool. You basically a 4 cost removal. Because if your Digimon was going to die anyways, then it's negligible that you are losing a Digimon in the process. But if your opponent is swinging at this with more DP, this is deleted, you get to delete something. Or you can surprise them and then just delete something that's lower than 12,000. But yeah, this seems like a really good card for field control. Maybe I just like field control more, but I like Diaboromon ACE more than I like the tempo that I get from Imperialdramon Dragon Mode ACE. But yeah, I don't really like the Dragon Mode ACE that much. The Fighter Mode ACE from BT14 is a whole different story. This card seems really good. But in terms of the Dragon Mode ACE promo, I don't really like it. So let's talk about this Veemon. This Veemon is very good. Very good for a lot of decks that utilize Veemons. The only deck that I can think of that utilizes Veemon that doesn't really benefit from this card, maybe Ulforce Veedramon. I'm not sure about Veedramons being a free trait or not, but you know, most decks that do use Veemons are going to digivolve into free trait. They might be free trait. No, they are vaccine. Okay, so yeah, Ulforce Veedramon. This Veemon doesn't really do much for the deck. But, you know, for Armor Rush, for Armor Control, for Imperialdramon, this card is really good. Your turn once returned when this Digimon would digivolve into a card with a free trait. If you have a Tamer, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So it doesn't even have to be a color-specific Tamer. It can be any Tamer that you have. Then you can reduce Digivolution cost by 1, which is pretty nice. So going into a level 4 that would normally cost 2 would only cost 1. If you want to go into Magnamon, which costs 3 off of Veemon, then it would just cost 2. So basically this is really good at saving you 1 memory. When attacking, if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, draw 1. So immediately when I see this Veemon, I think about 2 other Veemons. So first, I think about EX1 Veemon. Your turn must return. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. So this Veemon would have to be in a Digivolution source under a Digimon, and then that Digimon would have to unsuspend in order for you to get a memory. This Veemon I like more just because you are able to save that memory more easily in terms of Armor Rush, Armor Control, and Imperialdramon. So instead of going through the hoops and hurdles of having to unsuspend the Digimon later to gain a memory, you just bypass that by just saving 1 memory going into level 4. So this seems like an upgrade compared to this Veemon for most situations. If you are playing Imperialdramon and then you go into the Imperialdramon starter deck 9, and then you're like, oh, cool, I can attack, unsuspend, attack. Oh, cool. You know, something that's like really niche, then yeah, maybe you want the memory later on, but I think that this Veemon is generally more useful than the EX1 Veemon, just because you are saving 1 memory. It's just easier to save this memory than with the EX1 Veemon, unless you build your deck specifically around being able to unsuspend your Digimon. And then the other one attacking that this Veemon reminds me of, if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, draw 1. So when I see that, I immediately think of the starter deck 8 Veemon. When attacking, if you have 7 more or fewer cards in your hand, trigger draw 1. The only real benefit that this Veemon would have over the promo Veemon is if you are playing this Veemon in a deck that is monocolor. So if you are running a lot of blue Digimon only and they are not dual color, then this Veemon is not as good as this Veemon for the inheritable when attacking. But yeah, most of the time you are going to be playing this in Armor Rush, Armor Control, and Imperialdramon, so most likely you will have 2 or more colors. This is slightly harder. So if you are playing the Veemon specifically in a deck that has 2 or more colors, then you will have no problem drawing. This is slightly harder just in case you do have 8 or more cards in hand, then when you attack you do not draw 1. But this is better if you aren't really playing dual color Digimon, or if you want to warp Digivolve into Ulforce Speedrun. But yeah, this Veemon is what I think of when I think of an upgraded starter deck 8 Veemon, and when I think of an upgraded EX1 Veemon. Personally, I just love this in Armor Rush, Armor Control, and Imperialdramon. So let's talk about this Ukkomon now. This Ukkomon is really good. I am a huge fan of white Digimon, so this Ukkomon is just a card that I have been playing a lot with lately. So it has a Rainbow Digivolution from level 2. So as long as it's a level 2 Digimon, you can Digivolve off of it, regardless of color. So you can Digivolve off of most Digi-Eggs, you just can't Digivolve off of Mother D-Reaper because it has no level, Kingdrasil because it has no level, but basically almost any Digi-Egg you can Digivolve off of, which means that you can abuse this card, or not really abuse, that's not really the right word, you can fit this card in a lot of different color decks. So you can play this in any color you want. You can play this in a red deck, in a blue deck, in a yellow deck, in a green deck, in a black deck, in a purple deck. Maybe you could play this in a white deck, but you know, maybe not. Maybe some jank with Mother D-Reaper. You hard play Ukkomon, and then turn after turn you push out Mother D-Reaper, gain a memory, hatch another D-Reaper, push out D-Reaper next turn, gain a memory. So maybe you just want some really easy memory gain, so maybe. But other than white, this card can really fit into red, blue, yellow, green, black, or purple very easily. Once per turn, your turn, when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, you may hatch in the breeding area, then gain 1 memory. So this is just very good. This even sees itself moving out, similar to the Diaboromon from BT7. So let's look at that Diaboromon. So it has this inheritable. Your turn once returned. When one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, gain 1 memory. So the ruling with this Diaboromon is that if you are tucking this card, like you are tucking this Diaboromon under one of your other cards, then in the process of tucking this under, that Digimon will have this inheritable, and because this Diaboromon is tucked under that Digimon, then it will gain 1 memory. So it seems kind of odd, even more odd than the Ukkomon, but this is how it's ruled. If you're tucking this card under one of your other Digimon, then you will gain a memory. Now this Ukkomon is similar to that, but slightly easier to understand. So because Ukkomon from the breeding area is moving to the battle area, then it is now in the battle area. Actually, no, it's actually very similar to the Diaboromon now that I think about it. So now it is now in the battle area, and then it sees itself moving out, so you can hatch an egg and then gain 1 memory. So basically, this card serves 2, maybe 3 purposes, but 2 main purposes. So the first main purpose is that it will accelerate your hatching and digivolving in the breeding area. So this is really good for rookie rush decks. So if this card is out and then you either move Ukkomon out or you move a different Digimon from breeding out, then you can hatch an egg. So you are going to accelerate promoting your Digimon. So instead of every other turn you can promote, it will be every turn. So for example, Ukkomon comes out, you hatch an egg, digivolve into a Digimon. Next turn, you push that Digimon out, Ukkomon hatches an egg. Next turn of your turn, and then you push that one out, and then you hatch another egg. So then this Ukkomon will make it so then you can not have to wait a turn before you push a Digimon out. So you will wait 1 less turn. The other purpose that this card serves is that when you are pushing Digimon out, then you gain a memory. So even this card coming out, gaining you a memory, can be good. So let's say you have a memory setter, you're at 3. You push a Digimon out, now you're at 4. So with that 4 memory, you can have more opportunities to just do stuff. It feels weird explaining more memory, but yeah, usually more memory that you have, the more stuff they can do, basically. But yeah, this card is really good. The other minor thing that this card can do, that isn't really a major thing, but it's more like a minor thing. When this card can go off of any level 2 Digi-Egg. So for example, if you want like a static Digi-Egg, it can go off of something like Shadramon. So if you're playing this in a blue deck, you don't really need to do anything with this Ukkomon. It can just comfortably sit on the field, especially if it's over Shadramon. So you don't really want to attack with Shadramon. Shadramon, you just kind of want your Digimon to be chilling. Your turn was return. When one of your opponent's Digivolution cards is trash, trigger draw 1. So if this Ukkomon is over this Shadramon, you don't really need to attack with it. So you can just chill with it under it. There's also the new... I forgot what it was. There's like the red egg. Koromon. So this can be over Koromon, and then which is really good. There's like a really popular red Ukkomon rush deck, but if this is over Koromon, your turn once per turn when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, draw 1. You don't really need to attack with the Ukkomon as long as the Ukkomon is just chilling on the field, and then a card is removed from your opponent's security stack during your turn. You will still get the card draw. So Ukkomon is just even good over eggs, that you don't really need to attack with Ukkomon. You can still draw from like Tokomon, Koromon, from the Shadramon that when you trash a source you draw. But yeah, this is just pretty nice. Basically, egg acceleration, memory gain, And you can also use this as another rookie just to sit on an egg. Motomiya. I like this Davis. If you have a Digimon with the free trait, gain 1 memory. On play, activate one of the following effects. You may play 1 Veemon from your hand without paying the cost. So this Davis can fit in a lot of decks. It can fit in Armor Rush, Armor Control, maybe even All-Force Shadramon if you want to play this in All-Force Shadramon, Imperialdramon. So any deck that really uses Veemon, you can have a lot of practicality with Motomiya. So when you play Davis, you play out Veemon. So Veemons just cost 3 memory, but Davis costs 3 memory. So if you play this Davis for 3, you play out Veemon without paying cost. So it's like, oh, cool. Play for 3, play out Veemon for 0. Now, turn after turn, if you have a Digimon with a free trait, gain 1. So it's basically like a continuous Hammer Spark. So the initial time that you use this card, you play it for 3 to get a Veemon out, but then turn after turn, you basically get a free Hammer Spark. So I like this Davis. Other effects, one of your Digimon may digivolve into X Veemon in your hand without paying the cost. So most of the time I don't really use that effect. It doesn't really come up that much. Usually you just want to play out a bunch of Veemons with Motomiya, but it's pretty nice. You just keep gaining memory turn after turn. Security, play this card without paying the cost. Lui Ohwada, pretty nice card, honestly. So this is like the tamer. This is like a pseudo hybrid for game. So Lui costs 3. On play, you may move one of your level 3 or higher Digimon from the breeding area to the battle area. Your turn, when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, by suspending this tamer, gain 1 memory. So this is very interesting. To talk about Lui, let's talk about BT1 Mimi. I believe BT1 Mimi, yeah. So if you don't know what BT1 Mimi does, if you have a level 5 or higher green Digimon, you can suspend Mimi to hatch an egg. If you already have a Digimon in your breeding area, you can instead suspend Mimi to push out your level 3 or higher Digimon. And then the ruling with BT1 Mimi is that, for example, if you just hatch an egg that turn, then you digivolve that egg into a Digimon, and then in the same turn, you suspend Mimi to push out your level 3 or higher Digimon. It can attack. The reasoning is you did not play that Digimon. That Digimon wasn't played. It was hatched. Similar to DNA Digivolution, you don't really play the Digimon. It just enters play, ready to attack. So with the ruling with Mimi, if you push out a Digimon in the breeding area that was not played, but even if it was hatched in the same turn, it can still attack. So people have mistakenly thought that, oh, cool, Mimi is really good with the Devas. I'm not saying that's not good, but there was a lot of discussion about this. Let's quickly talk about it. But let's say, for example, they have these green Devas, so Vajramon, Vikaramon, Kamhiramon. So they have one of these green level 5 Digimons. So they play this card, and then they play out a different Deva into the breeding area. So on play, draw 1, then you may play 1 Digimon card with the Deva trait with a different name from cards in your ballot area, or trash from your hand to an empty space in your breeding area without paying the cost. So basically they play out the Vajramon, and then maybe they put out like a Pajiramon into the breeding area. Like the actual card that they put out doesn't really matter, but they play this card into the breeding area. This is the key focus of what I'm talking about. But then like they would use the BT1 Mimi, suspend the Mimi to push out Pajiramon, and then they think, oh, cool. Previously, it was ruled that Mimi can push a Digimon out from breeding and it can attack right away. Which is true. That was the way that it was ruled. But specifically, that BT1 Mimi, if you look at the actual ruling, it was ruled that way because Digimon that are hatched are not played. And then a Digimon that is just played cannot attack unless it has Rush. So people have mistakenly attributed Mimi's effect to just being able to push a Digimon out from breeding and then attacking with it, regardless of how it got there. But that's not entirely true. If a Digimon is hatched and then it comes out that same turn, it can attack. It just can't attack if it's played, which is what the Devas do. But now that is discussed, now that going back to Lui, you can have start of your turn. You hatch. You have a level 2 Digimon in the breeding area. You Digivolve that level 2 until level 3 for 0, usually most of the time. You play Lui for 3. You, on play, push that Digimon from breeding to the battle area, and then you suspend Lui. So you gain 1 memory. So basically, to recap, you now have a Digimon into the battle area ready to attack. You have Lui on the field. So then every next time that you push a Digimon out, you can suspend Lui to gain 1 memory. So that's good. And then this whole interaction costed you 2. So for 2 memory, you have this Tamer on field that every subsequent time you push out, you can suspend to gain 1 memory. And then you now have a Digimon ready to attack. So that is a really good value for 2 memory. Arguably even more value than Hybrid for game. With Hybrid for game, you have to have a pre-existing Tamer on the field that you can Digivolve off of to swing. With Lui, you can use this early, you can use this mid, you can use this late game, but you would still gain a lot of advantage for it. So early game, if you have Lui out, oh cool, you can swing with your rookie very early, or even if not that, then having the Lui on field, so then every other time you push out, you can gain 1 memory. So over the course of the game, you can get a lot of memory off of Lui, so that's very good. But yeah, this Lui is just phenomenal. Now I will talk about Ukkomon and Lui Ohwada more intensely in a different video. Same thing for Davis and Veemon in a different video, but for now, this is all I want to say at the moment about them. But let's talk about these 6 promo cards. So first, when I saw Shadramon, I was like, oh, cool, this is okay. It doesn't seem that great. It seems okay. So it reminded me of Imperialdramon Dragon Mode Virus. It's just like a nice armor form free Digimon that you can place in as another level 4 for the deck. So this was when I first saw the card. I was like, oh cool, you have Flamedramon as your red Digimon. I'll actually just add these cards to the deck builder so then we can actually discuss them. Okay. So first, I was like, oh, cool. You can play this card among Flamedramon and Shadramon because these cards really enable the Imperialdramon Virus combo. So activate one of the effects below. You may Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a level 4 purple Digimon card with 3 and its traits from your trash for the cost. Or you may DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon in play into a Digimon card in your hand for the cost. This is basically the opposite effect of this card. So this will play out a level 4 purple Digimon card with free. Or no, not play out. You can Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a purple level 4 Digimon card from your trash with the free trait. This can Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a red Digimon card, red level 4 Digimon card with free and traits from your trash. But yeah. When I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, this is a nice card to include, just so that you can have more red and purple level 4s. Before Shadramon came out, I know that people were playing the other promo red-purple card. Well, not before. I don't even know. No, it was definitely not before. But they were playing other purple-red level 4s. Maybe it was before. At least in Japan. So, yeah, I think... Yeah. So, people were playing Saberdramon. So, this is actually promo 91. We did not get this yet. But I think Japan got this before we did. But yeah, they were maybe playing like a different red-purple card as level 4. It's not free. But it's like, oh, cool, it's red and purple. So, it can fill in the gap. Because, there's more consistency in having a Digimon that's level 4 that's red and purple. Or they could be playing like the Growlmon card. I also don't think that's purple. And that's free, I mean. Yeah, so it's virus, so it's not free, but it's like, oh, cool. It's something they can do. It's like red and purple. So then this will just enable DNA Digivolution into your level 5 more easily. Or they could do something that's not really good. But, if they need like another level 4 free red, they might just play Flamedramon. Or they might play... I hope this is right. Nope, it was not right. So they could play Flamedramon because it just digivolves off of Veemon for 2. Or they could play Quetzalmon because it's purple, it digivolves from purple level 3 for 2. But yeah, there were some interesting techs that people were running with Flamedramon and Shadramon because, it's not that consistent to just have like a level 4 in the trash. So they would bump up level 4 count by adding in Flamedramon and Quetzal, whatever that Digimon was. Quetzalmon into their deck, so then they would have higher level 4 count. But then this Shadramon is like just better. But if you look at this Shadramon now, it doesn't seem that good. So Digivolve from Wormmon for 2. When Digivolving, you may play one Veemon or Wormmon from your trash suspended without paying the cost, which is nice. So if you have a rookie, maybe you have a Wormmon, you Digivolve this Shadramon on top of the Wormmon. Now you can play out Veemon or Wormmon from your trash. And then you can Digivolve that Veemon or Wormmon into one of these 2 level 4s. Activate the effect to DNA this Digimon with your other Digimon. So this Flamedramon can go with Shadramon to go into Imperialdramon or Diaboromon. Or if you played out the Veemon or Wormmon, and then you go into the Shadramon, then you can DNA Shadramon and Shadramon into Diaboromon or Imperialdramon. So that's also something that you can do. And then as long as you have that, you have one of these inheritables. You only really need one inheritable anyways. So the Flamedramon or Shadramon can then, end of turn, after you DNA Digivolve into the Imperialdramon, which will play out the Diaboromon, or you go into the Diaboromon, which will play out the Imperialdramon. The inheritable will then help you to DNA again into Dragon Mode, and then this has DNA Digivolution, deletes all but one of your opponent's Digimon, and then this has Blitz, and they can just easily go into Fire Mode. But yeah, this was a pretty nice promo, so it makes it easier for you to do the combo. You can start with a rookie, play out a rookie from your trash, and then if you have the other Flamedramon or Shadramon in hand, Digivolve on top of that rookie, and then begin DNA Digivolving into level 5, then into level 6, and then now the combo's easier. So this is nice. Now, what is even more nice is how good the Shadramon will be in BT14. So I was looking at this Shadramon. I was like, oh, cool. It's a nice card. you know, Digivolve from Wormmon for 2. You know, it'd be fun to have a Wormmon Armor Rush. So while we were first getting the reveals, immediately my head went to, let's play Wormmon Armor Rush. So we have we have 3 Digimon that Digivolve for 2 off of Wormmon. So we have Tegamogumon. It's armor, so it has blocker and armor purge. You know, Digivolve from Wormmon of any color. So it's like, oh, cool. Wormmon Armor Rush. We have this Wormmon. So it's not really like the same armor purge style as Veemon, which is nice because it's nice to have a different play style. If, you know, they just had like the same style as the Veemon, then there's not really much point in playing different decks. But it's nice that this has a different effect. So this, if you're playing like a Wormmon Armor Rush, then your Wormmons will probably be swinging a lot, and then you will have some Wormmons in trash. You Digivolve into the Shadramon, you play out another Wormmon, so it's like, oh, cool. You get back some card recursion with this card. Or you can even go into this Stingmon, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, so it's similar to Shadramon from Veemon. But this also has retaliation, so you can suspend one of their level 6s, level 7s if you want to, swing into that level 6 or level 7 that you just suspended, and then delete it because it has retaliation. So this is pretty nice. So I really liked the idea of Wormmon Armor Rush when I saw, you know, the Shadramon. I didn't really discuss it today, but then the promo Wormmon also helps you to find these cards. So it's like, oh yeah, you can definitely play Armor Rush in BT16 with like the many Digimon. But when we saw the BT16 reveals and we finally saw the Wormmon, I was like, oh my god, this Wormmon just makes Imperialdramon Virus so good. Okay. So, start of your main phase and on play, if it's your turn, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a level 4 Digimon card with the Insectoid or free trait from your trash with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. So this is just amazing for Imperialdramon Virus. And let me explain it really, really quickly. So let's say that this Wormmon is in your trash. You Digivolve one of your other Wormmons or even Veemon into the Shadramon. Shadramon, when Digivolving, play out this Wormmon from your trash. Wormmon on play. You can then Digivolve, you know, one of your Digimon into a level 4 Digimon card with Insectoid or free from your trash with 1 less cost. So with this Wormmon that you just played, it can Digivolve into Flamedramon or Shadramon for 1 cost. So you can go into this one or this one for 1, and then you can just DNA the Shadramon and one of these two into your level 5s. Play out the other level 5, and then because this is an inheritable, go into your Dragon mode and then Fighter mode. So let's talk about the first iterations of Imperialdramon Virus mode. So before, you would have to have a rookie in raising or in play. And then most decks run Motomiya, so you would have 3 memory. You play out the other rookie that you need. So now you have 2 rookies in play, you are at 0. You Digivolve one of them into Flamedramon or Shadramon. This will enable you to Digivolve the other one into a red level 4 with free, or a purple level 4 with free from your trash, ideally into one of these. And then now you will be able to DNA Digivolve all the way up to level 6, but then this would require you to have, you know, a memory setter or 1 rookie starting out at the turn with. So either 1 in raising they can bring out or 1 on the field. So, you know, you either had to have a rookie ready and a memory setter, or being able to play out 2 rookies in the same turn. But with this Shadramon that just got released, you don't really need to do that. You can start the turn with 1 rookie play out, digivolve into this Shadramon, and then this will get you the other rookie. So instead of having to be able to play out 2 rookies, this will help with that currently. But even more, when BT16 comes, this is even better. Because now, instead of playing out a Wormmon or Veemon from trash, then having to digivolve into one of these, you can play out this Wormmon, and they can even digivolve into one of these from your trash. So yeah, this just helps the deck even more. I'm not really explaining this too well because it's more conceptual, and I think that maybe it would help if I had the physical cards to really explain it, because this is absolutely bonkers for the deck. I'm just not thinking that I'm communicating this well. But, you know, if you have one of these Digimon, digivolve into the Shadramon, play out the other, maybe you play out this Wormmon, then you can go into Flamedramon or Shadramon from your trash, and then go up to level 6 really easily. So, starting with a rookie and raising, digivolve for 2, or even if you just have no rookies out at all, you play a rookie out for 3. If you have Memory Center, go to 0. Digivolve for 2 into Shadramon. Shadramon will play out Wormmon. Wormmon will be able to digivolve into Flamedramon or Shadramon. When digivolving, DNA digivolve Shadramon into Imperialdramon or Diaboromon. Play out the other one, Inheritable. DNA digivolve both of these into Dragon Mode. And then when digivolving, you basically board wipe except for 1. And then Blitz when attacking effects, and then go into fighter mode. So you can start your turn with just 3 memory, 0 rookies in raising, 0 rookies on field, and then just play a rookie, digivolve for 2 into Shadramon, and then now you can just board wipe them except for 1, and then go into your level 6, which is like, oh, cool. You can start with very little, and yet you can go to level 6. If you have a rookie at all, so if you start your turn with a rookie, or if you have a rookie in raising ready to go out, you don't even need the memory setter. You can have as little as 1 memory. Just digivolve that rookie into Shadramon for 2. Now it's 1 on your opponent's side. Then, you know, basically the same combo. Pull out the Wormmon. Wormmon, go into the level 4. Level 4 DNA digivolve. Go into level 5. Pull out the other level 5. Then now you have level 6. So even if your opponent memory chokes you, you can still pull off the combo. So this is another method that you can use. I think that this is honestly why the Shadramon got more expensive after we saw the BT16 Wormmon reveal specifically. Because comboed with the BT16 Wormmon, you can just so easily go into Imperialdramon Virus. So let's say that, you know, you do not have the BT16 Wormmon. Let's say, like, even now, it's still good, just not as good. With the BT16 Wormmon, you can go into Flamedramon or Shadramon from your trash. Now, if you use this card now, you can still easily go into Virus, but you would just have to have Flamedramon or Shadramon in your hand. So if you go digivolve on top of your rookie for 2, maybe 3 if it's on a Veemon, then you can play out one of your rookies from your trash. Now you would have to have Flamedramon or Shadramon in hand to do like the Digivolutions all the way to fighter mode. So this alone, you would have to have Flamedramon or Shadramon in hand, but it does help out you to actually get the combo started, even if you don't start with too much memory or a rookie in play. But if you do have the BT16 Wormmon, then you don't even need to have Flamedramon or Shadramon in hand if they are even in trash. Then you can go to Imperialdramon fighter mode pretty easily. But yeah, this card is bonkers in BT16 because it just combos so well with the BT16 Wormmon. So yeah, you can use this for Wormmon Armor Rush, or this card is just really good for Imperialdramon Virus Mode, even now. But in BT16, it's just even better because it just gives you more consistency in getting to your top end. Let's talk about Knightmon. So, yeah, I just talked a lot about the Shadramon, but let's talk about Knightmon now. So first, when I saw this, I was like, oh, cool, this is a neat card. It is, for most applications, better than the original Knightmon. So Knightmon, 7 costs. This Knightmon also 7 costs, 7,000 DP, 7,000 DP. Digivolves for 4 instead of Digivolve for 3, which is like the only drawback on this card, really. On play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. On play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn for each of your Digimon. So this effect is worse if you have no other Digimon out at all. You just on play this, you can only neg 3,000 DP on one of your opponent's Digimon. If you have at least one other Digimon in play, then this effect is just better than this Knightmon's effect. But it's also really good because it also works while Digivolving and not having to only be on play. This Knightmon also has a really good inheritable. So all turns, once per turn, when another Digimon attacks, you may play one yellow or black level 3 Digimon card from your hand without paying the cost. So immediately you can see that, oh cool, this card is really great with the Knightmon deck in BT5. Yeah, so with the typical Knightmon deck, Lord Knightmon deck, you would spam out your warriors, namely being Knightmon. There was also other things, but I don't really remember their names. So you would spam out Knightmons and Kodomons. No, not Kodomons, that's not a warrior. Gladiomons, and so you would spam out Gladiomons and Knightmons with the Lord Knightmon effect. So it's like, oh, cool, you can attack with Lord Knightmon, play out Knightmon, reduce something by 4,000, so you can easily get more DP, because Lord Knightmon gets more DP the more Digimon you have out, and also Knightmon will DP minus, so you can attack over your opponent's Digimon. So Knightmon was pretty good. But you can also, the deck also really wanted to focus on getting out Lucimons, because Lucimon, I don't even remember what I was doing. I'm looking for it now. Okay, so when attacking, you may play a yellow level 3 Digimon card or yellow Digimon card with warrior and its type from your hand without paying this memory cost. So you can even spam out Lucimons with this effect. All turns for each other Digimon you have in play, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP. So it gets more DP the more Digimon you have out. When attacking, you can play out warriors like Knightmon, Gladiomon, or even a level 3 Digimon that's yellow like Lucimon. So back then, the deck's purpose was mainly to spam out Digimon to flood the field with Digimon, spam out Lucimons, so then you can recover. It's interesting, I just noticed that there's Lucimon Chaos Mode in the background. But yeah, basically spam the field with Lucimons to recover, spam the field with Knightmons for field control, Gladiomons for searching, but this Knightmon can easily fit into Lord Knightmon as well, just because it is a Knightmon, it is a warrior, it's yellow, so you can play this out with Lord Knightmon's effect. But this just seems better than the other Knightmon. It does also have this inheritable, so if this Knightmon is under your Lord Knightmon, for example, and your opponent attacks you, you can play out Lucimon, which is pretty funny. So if they attack, you can play out Lucimon, you get that recover plus 1. Or you can attack. No, yeah, you can attack with a different Digimon at least. And it can still play out Lucimon. So this card is just good at spamming out Lucimons. But another interesting deck that you can use Knightmon in is the Jumbo Chessmon deck. So Jumbo Gamamon and Chessmon. There's a lot of potential with this Knightmon, I think. So let's say, okay, we're done with this Shadramon, so I'm just gonna remove it to save some space. So let's say that you are playing a Pawn Chessmon deck, and then you include this Knightmon in your deck, which is still a pretty nice card to include. So it is black and yellow, so if you need to play this directly, you can still suspend Miki and Kurosaki, and Megumi Shirakawa to gain 1 memory. So it's like, oh cool, this card just fits in the deck wonderfully. If you play this in a Chessmon deck, and your opponent attacks you on their turn, so you can just play out a Pawn Chessmon from your hand, and then you can suspend a bunch of Miki and Megumis, so you can just steal turn from them, which is the main purpose of Jumbo Gamamon. So opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may play 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. So with Jumbo Gamamon, it's usually paired up with Keenan Crier and cards that force your opponent to attack, like Laplace's Demon, Trident Arm, and then that level 5 hybrid. I think Seraphimon? Honestly, I think it's Seraphimon, but I could be wrong. Yes. Okay. So with the Jumbo Gamamon deck, you really want to pair it with Laplace's Demon, Trident Arm, Seraphimon, Sephirothmon, Keenan Crier, and Miki and Megumi. So that way, the more Mikis and Megumis and the Keenan Criers that you have, when you force your opponent to attack you, and they have to with, these effects, then you can just steal turns over and over again, which is kind of funny. So Jumbo Gamamon, seeing your opponent's Digimon attacked, you will play out a level 5 or lower black or yellow Digimon. So then you can now suspend Miki and Megumi to gain memory, since a Digimon was played during your opponent's turn. By an effect, you can gain 1 memory. So having these cards will just be able to gain a bunch of memory during your opponent's turn. These cards force your opponent to attack at the start of their main phase, so they can't really do much. They have to attack. So then they're forced to attack you. You can gain a bunch of memory by playing cards from Jumbo Gamamon's Digivolution sources. Now, I like this Knightmon as well, because now you don't have to play only from Jumbo Gamamon's Digivolution sources. You can play from your hand and still be able to gain memory. So let's say you have Pawn Chessmon in your hand. You don't have to play out a yellow-black Digimon from Jumbo Gamamon's effect. You can just save some Pawn Chessmons in your hand, and then when your opponent is forced to attack you with Laplace's Demon, Trident Arm, or Sephirothmon's effect, then Knightmon's inheritable. You can play out one of these Pawn Chessmons from your hand. Then same thing, you can just steal turns with a Miki and Megumi and Keenan Crier. So I can see Knightmon working with Lord Knightmon and a Knightmon deck. This just seems better than the original Knightmon. Even if not better, then it can be an additional Knightmon for the deck. So even if you aren't just flat out replacing it or upgrading it, you can just have this as additional copies of Knightmon. But I can also see this being very good in a deck like Jumbo Gamamon, because now, instead of only having Digimon from sources to play out, with this inheritable active, you can play out Pawn Chessmons from your hand and then still steal turns. Even if not Pawn Chessmons, at least you can still play out other Digimon from hand and then possibly steal turns with Keenan Crier's effect. But yeah, the Lord Knightmon is better than I initially thought. So Morphomon, this card, I have so much to talk about with this card. So I actually play Eosmon a lot, and I haven't really talked about this Morphomon before. So people might be wondering why I haven't talked about this Morphomon. So my other Eosmon decks I haven't really updated since before the mulligan rule came into place. So back then I was running a bunch of rookies. This was before mulligans. So I was like, oh, cool, let's do 14 rookies. 14 rookies was pretty standard in a bunch of decks back then. But now I might reduce rookie count to 12. But this Morphomon, but basically I just did not update my Eosmon decks. I did not make a video about me updating my Eosmon decks in a while. But I will eventually in the future. But yeah, let's talk about this Morphomon now. So this Morphomon can be splashed into any color Eosmon deck. When I saw this Morphomon, I was like, wow, this is really good. And I didn't really formulate my opinions because I didn't really play this Morphomon. But after looking at the effect of this Morphomon intensely, I was like, yeah, this is actually very good. So this Morphomon reminds me of Hammer Spark and X antibody option. So let's look at the effect. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Eosmon and 1 Manoa Bellucci among them to the hand. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Then by placing this Digimon as one of your Eosmon's bottom Digivolution card, you may play 1 Manoa Bellucci from your hand without paying the cost. So honestly, I wholeheartedly recommend you pick this card up before it shoots in value. Following Manoa Bellucci and Eosmon coming back in BT14. But yeah, this card is already good. I can imagine that this card will shoot up in value even more once we get BT17 reveals. But this card does several things. First, you play this for 3, and then you grab an Eosmon and Manoa Bellucci among the top 3 cards of your deck. So that's already pretty good. But after you do that, you can slide this card under one of your Eosmons, and then you can play a Manoa Bellucci from your hand without paying cost. So Manoa Bellucci already costs 4 memory. Now if you... It just makes a lot more sense for me to pull up the cards. Okay, so Manoa Bellucci already costs 4 memory. Even if you have a Manoa in hand and you don't really need the search, you can just play this card, get more search in, slide this under your Eosmon, and then get this Manoa Bellucci out. Basically for 1 less memory. So instead of playing Manoa for 4, you play this Morphomon for 3, get a search in, slide this under one of your Eosmon, and then get a Manoa into play for free. So basically, instead of playing Manoa for 4, you do all that for 3. Sliding this under Eosmon has, I think, 2 main purposes. So first, it adds a source count to your Eosmon, which is really good, especially for Eosmon BT6, because this actually cares about how many Digivolution sources you have under it. But also, it has a really neat inheritable. Your turn once returned, when another Eosmon is played, this Digimon may Digivolve into 1 Eosmon in your hand, with the Digivolution cost reduced by 3. So let's say you slide this under BT6 level 5 Eosmon specifically, and then by sliding it under, you get to play out Manoa Bellucci. Okay, that's pretty nice. And then you swing with this Eosmon. Eosmon's effects will play another Eosmon level 5 or even this Eosmon level 4 from your hand without paying costs, which is also pretty nice. And then because another Eosmon is played, Well, first, you can suspend Manoa and then dig for more Eosmon pieces. But then after that, this Digimon may digivolve into one Eosmon in your hand with the digivolution cost reduced by 3. So now you can go into Eosmon level 6, either the BT6 one or the BT7 one, for 2 cost or for 0. So this is kind of like X Antibody in the way that you are able to digivolve while attacking. But instead of going into an X Antibody Digimon, you go into an Eosmon. With 3 less costs, mind you. So yeah, this is just really good. You use this for 3. You get a Manoa Bellucci into play without paying costs. You get to search cards among top 3 cards of your deck. So you get card advantage, you get a free tamer, you get a digivolution source under your Eosmon for 3 memory. But then when you attack with this Eosmon, you play out another Eosmon, you can go into your level 6 for 3 less memory. So basically for net 0, you get so much. So it does cost 3, but then when you digivolve, it costs 3 less to digivolve. So it does so much for the deck, honestly. I'm not really hitting the nuance of why this card is good, but maybe if I circle back, then it will be more prevalent why this card is amazing. When digivolving for each tamer you have in play, or each tamer in play, so both yours and your opponent, you may place 1 level 5 or lower Eosmon from your trash as the top of this Digimon's digivolution cards in any order. If you place 2 or more cards with this effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. So, this Eosmon is amazing. I play 3 to 4 copies in my own decks, just because it's really good. It's a really good top end. So when you digivolve for 5, you can just basically Gaia Force something. So you can just delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Assuming that you place 2 or more Eosmons under it with the 1 digivolving effect. Your turn, for every 3 digivolution cards this Digimon has, it gains security attack +1. So this is also another reason why this Morphomon is good. So it does count as another source for the Eosmon. I have seen some weird decks play Eosmon with the X Antibody option. Like it has no purpose being in the deck. It's just more so you can add a source count to the Eosmon, so you get that extra security attack +1. But with this Morphomon, you can slide this under the Eosmon, and then attack with this Eosmon, go into BT6 Eosmon for 2 cost, delete something, and then maybe this will give you another security attack +1. So instead of security attack +1, maybe it's security attack +2 or something. But yeah, this Morphomon serves several purposes. You get to search with it, you get to play a Manoa Bellucci for free, so even if nothing else really entices you to use this card, you can at least play a Manoa Bellucci for 1 less, which is kind of why I kind of see this as similar to Hammer Spark. It's just good at giving you memory. Kind of like a training too. You get to search cards from your deck. And then later on, when you digivolve, you reduce cost by 3. You can digivolve when you're attacking with the BT6 level 5 Eosmon. So it's just really phenomenal. I think that my main issues before with the Eosmon deck, if I can remember correctly, you have the Manoa Bellucci that sets you to 3, which is nice. And now you're at 3, you have this Eosmon in play, and you want to digivolve into this Eosmon level 6, so it will pass turn. Actually, no, that was not my issue. I remember what the issue was now. Let's say that you want to delete one of your opponent's Digimon, and then you are at 3. You have no Eosmon out, so this is actually the issue. So you have no Eosmon out, you want to delete your opponent's Digimon, you're at 3 memory, so you kind of want to play this Eosmon for 5. But if you do so, then you're just going to pass memory. And then you can't really go into this Eosmon at all. It's honestly been a while, but you know, whatever the case may be, maybe you do have this Eosmon, maybe you just want to go into this Eosmon, but, you know, being able to play this for 3, and then just being able to, I honestly remember now, so I take back everything I said in like the last minute. So if you have this Eosmon, you kind of want to attack with it, but it's like only 6,000 DP. You don't have enough memory to go into this Eosmon while keeping turn and then attacking with this 13,000 DP Digimon for maybe 2-3 security attacks. So I actually remember the issue now. So let's say that you have this Eosmon already in play. You have 3 memory because of Manoa Bellucci. Now you play this Morphomon. Search some cards, add some cards to hand, play out Manoa Bellucci for free, attack with this Eosmon, play out another Eosmon, suspend Manoa, search for more Eosmons or Tamers, and then when attacking, because you played out this another Eosmon, you can now go into this 13,000 DP Eosmon swinging. This is actually more than 13,000 DP because of the inheritables that buff it up even more. So it could be realistically 16,000, 17,000, 18,000, just because you're also sliding in Eosmons underneath it. But yeah, now you are able to swing with a large Digimon with a bunch of security attacks. So that was it. So this is really good as a pseudo X antibody option, because now when you're attacking with this considerably weak 6,000 DP Eosmon, you can end the attack with a massive 18,000, 19,000 DP Eosmon with multiple security attacks. So yeah, it does cost 3, but you get searching from it. You get to play a Manoa Bellucci for free. You get an additional source under your Eosmon, which could count and help you for getting another security attack from BT6 Eosmon. And then when you're attacking with your weak 6,000 DP Eosmon, you can then Digivolve while you're attacking for 3 less cost into Eosmon BT6. So if you would just Digivolve for 5, you could instead just play this for 3, get some search, play a Tamer, put this under, attack, Digivolve for 2 into this. So it still would cost you 5, but with this Eosmon you get so much happening at once. It's just so good for the deck, honestly. Now you can just very easily swing at security with a large Digimon, several security attacks, but you also get to pop something all in the same turn. You could also go into this BT7 Eosmon. I don't really use this Eosmon. But, you know, I'm just saying you could. I just don't personally like it. But yeah, this Morphomon is just amazing. Comboed with the level 5 Eosmon. You slide it under, you attack, you play Eosmon. And then you can go into level 6 Eosmon for 2 costs, do a bunch of stuff, slide some Eosmons under it, delete an opponent's Digimon, and then check security at a massive DP. So this is actually very good. This is actually very good. And I know that people haven't really talked about this card before, but it is actually amazing. And I know for sure that it will skyrocket once we start getting BT17 reveals. People are like, oh, cool. I'm so excited to play Eosmon and Manoa Bellucci from BT17. Let's get this card, and then it'll be expensive. So I really recommend getting your playsets now if you haven't gotten them already, just because I know that BT17 Eosmon will be even stronger. It is pretty good now with this Morphomon especially, but it will be even stronger. So let's go back to the color identity of the Eosmon deck so you can use this Morphomon in. So again, you can use this in any color deck. So if you have seen my previous videos, I run a Guilmon base Eosmon red deck. So it's like a red base Eosmon deck. You can play this Morphomon in that deck too, because you don't really need to Digivolve off of Morphomon. So even if you have no level 4 level 4 green Digimon, that is okay, because this is more like an option than anything else. You can just have level 5 Eosmon in play. You play this, search for stuff, play Minoa Bellucci for free, slide this under your Eosmon, attack, go into the level 6 Eosmon. Boom. So even if you aren't playing a green base, this Morphomon is like a pseudo X Antibody, pseudo Hammer Spark. Basically, it's more like an option card than it is a Digimon card if you are not playing green base. So you can play this card, you can splash this card in purple, you can splash this card in red base Eosmon, even black base Eosmon. Basically, any Eosmon deck that has this Morphomon will be better from this Morphomon. So just having 4 of these Morphomons, I can see it being a 4 of in most Eosmon decks. Maybe even all Eosmon decks. But, you know, you could also use this in a green base. So let's say you don't want to use like a red base, you don't really want to use a purple base. You kind of want to use this in a green base, you could. The on play is useful. Personally, I love being able to search for cards, playing a tamer for free, and then you don't really have to do that. You could just Digivolve this off of your level 2 Digimon egg, Digivolve this into level 4 in breeding, into level 5 Eosmon, and then when you feel ready, you can push this out, and then you can attack on a later turn. And then you go to level 6 Eosmon. So, you know, you could play this in a green base, and even if you don't use this for its on play, you just focus on having this for its inheritable is still very good. So even if you only use this in a green base, you want to focus on Digivolving, you know, this is also very good for that. But this is good on play or even as inheritable. But yeah, this is amazing. I kind of want to get 2 playsets, but I was like, nah, 1 playset is good. I already pulled 3 of the Morphomons. I just bought 1 more. I was considering buying 4 additional Morphomons, so like 5 total. But I was like, nah, 1 playset is probably good. But right now the price is so low that I'm honestly considering it. So RustTyrannomon ACE. I'm not a huge fan of this card either, just like the Imperialdramon Dragon Mode Ace. So when Digivolving, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP, which is nice. So you can just stop your opponent from attacking you with their other unsuspended Digimon, which is like okay. But I don't know, I kind of am a fan of the Ukkomon more. All turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So to me, I think that most likely your opponent isn't going to have a massive field of Digimon ready to attack. So Ukkomon just seems better. So Ukkomon, you suspend 1 of their Digimon. All of their Digimon don't unsuspend during their next unsuspend phase. With this, RustTyrannomon, you suspend all of their Digimon with lower DP than this Digimon. You know, it's still good. I just would prefer Ukkomon. I could be wrong. Maybe it just depends on the format. Maybe it depends on personal preference. But I don't really like this RustTyrannomon ACE. All turns, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So this is a pretty nice effect, honestly. So you can just, on your turn, Digivolve into this Digimon, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon with less DP than it, if it's buffed up by your other Tyrannomon inheritables. So this could be 16,000 DP maybe, it could be 15,000 DP, but I can suspend a bunch of Digimon. And then you can just swing into one of their Digimon for removal, and then you trash security. So this is, good. So I'm not quite sure how good this is. I haven't actually used this yet. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this card. So I have very little to say about this card. So Diaboromon ACE. This card is good. I think that this card's good. So I'm very unconventional. When I think of a Diaboromon deck, I don't really think of Digivolving all the way up into Diaboromon. So from level 2 all the way to Diaboromon level 6. What I kind of think of when I think of a Diaboromon deck right now, I'm more of a fan of having a Megazoo style deck, which is, again, very unconventional. But this is how I would build the deck. So I would just play a bunch of level 5 black Digimon with good on plays. So Tyrannomon, Motomiya, Eosmon. I'm skipping some level 5s because I don't think that their on plays are that beneficial in a Diaboromon deck. I'm not taking all the level 5s, but I'm just going to show you some level 5s that I think are really good. So especially I want to point out Motomiya and Eosmon. I think that these are really good level 5s if you want to play Megazoo Diaboromon ACE or Megazoo Diaboromon. So these cards have really good on plays. On play, reveal top 5 cards of your deck. You may play one Tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less among them without paying the cost. Place the rest at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So Diaboromon is just really good, comboed with Ohwada Sonata. Of course, this is the Diaboromon Tamer, so it just makes sense to play Ohwada Sonata. So, if a Digimon unidentified in its type is in your trash, gain 1 memory. Your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into Diaboromon, you may suspend this Tamer to play 1 Diaboromon token without paying its memory cost. So when I think of Ohwada Sonata, the best way to really take advantage of this Tamer isn't really to do like a slow stack building to Ohwada Sonata. When I think about Ohwada Sonata, it's just better if you just play Megazoo style, play out a bunch of really good level 5 Digimon with some really good on-play effects, and then if your opponent decides to attack you, you can just blast Digivolve into Diaboromon ACE, so they can play out a token. Sadly, you can't use Ohwada Sonata's effect during your opponent's turn, but if you are playing out a bunch of level 5s and it is your turn, you can Digivolve into one of your other Diaboromons. Suspend the Ohwada Sonata, play out Diaboromon token. And then the idea of my deck is just to constantly play out level 5s, so you can constantly Digivolve into Diaboromons, so you can constantly get more tokens. So your tokens can have blocker, your tokens can have decoy. So it seems like it shouldn't work, but I honestly think that it can work. So the more tokens that you can play out, the more security attacks you can have. The more blockers that you can have. That's not the decoy one. I'm wrong. Okay. So I guess you just have more security attacks. You just have more blockers. And you can just delete more stuff with Diaboromon ACE. So personally, I think that Megazoo is the style of deck that I would go for if I'm building Diaboromon. But I know that other people would probably want to build a stack. But either way, this card is just good. So when Digivolving, when attacking, you may play 1 Diaboromon Digimon. Okay, so you can play 1 Diaboromon token without paying the cost. All turns, once their turn, when an effect plays another Digimon, you may delete one of your opponent's play cost 3 or lower Digimon. For each of your Diaboromon, add 2 to the maximum play cost for this effect. So, immediately, assuming you have no other Diaboromons, you Digivolve into this Diaboromon, you play out a Diaboromon token, And then now you can delete play cost 3, but then because of this one, play cost 5, and because of your token, play cost 7. So you can delete a Digimon that's 7 play cost or lower. Now, if you have a bunch of these Ohwada Sonatas, so let's just say you have 4 of these. So you can Digivolve into this, play out a token, play out 4 more tokens. So instead of play cost 7, it can now be play cost 9, 11, 13, 15. It can be up to 15 play cost. So yeah, if you have 4 Ohwadas, you Digivolve into this, you can delete 15 play costs, which is basically almost every Digimon. Now I'm not saying that's like what you kind of want to do, but I'm saying that if you play this deck in a Mega Zoo style, then you will more than likely have a bunch of Diaboromon tokens already in play, and then you're like, oh cool, I have so many Diaboromon tokens, and then you just Digivolve into this, or if this is already on the field, and then you play out another Diaboromon token, which is playing out a Digimon by effect, they can just blow something up. So this just seems fun in a Mega Zoo style deck. So definitely this is how I would build the deck anyways, but it seems like it's such a fun deck for Mega Zoo style. I only pulled 3 Diaboromon Aces. I don't really want to buy a 4th one. So I'm not sure if I will actually build the deck now, but I might build it, you know, just using the 3 aces, or I might build in the future once the premium Bandai Diaboromon Ace comes out. Okay, the last promo card that I'm going to talk about today. So it's SkullKnightmon. On deletion, you may play 1 tamer card with a mono in its name from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then save. So this is actually pretty funny. So a mono does not include a Monokawa. So there is actually like a ruling about this online. On deletion, you may play a 1 tamer card with a mono in its name from your hand or trash without paying the cost. So if you have this, you cannot play out a hero Monokawa. Amano is in the card name, but I guess it's more like bracket Amano dash. So there can be like nothing after Monokawa, or like maybe that's not like the right syntax, but basically you can't play out hero Monokawas or Hokuto Monokawa. So if it's a Monokawa, it's a no-go. But you can play out cards like Nene Amano, Uamano from BT12, or Kiriha and Nene from EX4. So if it's like a regular last name Amano, then you can play it out. You just can't play out a Monokawa. So it was funny that they made that ruling, but just to let you know, you cannot play this and then splash Hero Monokawa in your deck, then expect to play Hero Monokawa off of this card's effect, or even Hokuto Monokawa off of this card's effect. But yeah, I think that this is a pretty nice undulation. So if you're like trying to rush your opponent, or even if you're even not trying to rush your opponent and like this Digimon just gets deleted, cool, you can play an Amano tamer for free from your hand or trash. So this is pretty nice. If you want to play out Kiriha and Nene for 0, that's pretty good. So this costs 4. If this then gets deleted, you can play out this 4 cost tamer for 0. That's pretty good value. You can also play out Uamano, Nene Amano, or if for some reason you want to play BT12 Uamano, you could. But yeah, this is pretty nice. And then after you play the tamer, and then because this happens after, then you have the tamer in play, then you can save. So even if this is delayed, you have no tamer in play, you then play out a tamer, and then you save. So this is pretty nice. So saving this card can then enable Digicross later, with maybe SkullKnightmon Mighty Axe mode, or your Dark Knightmons. But yeah, being able to have this be deleted, saved under a tamer that you just played out for free, is a pretty nice effect, honestly. Your turn. Well, this Digimon has the Bagra Army or Twilight trait and is level 5 or higher. This Digimon gains Security Attack +1. So honestly, this is a pretty good promo for the Dark Knightmon deck. I don't think that there's much nuance here. I think that this card is pretty straightforward, honestly. You know, if this is delayed, you get to play a tamer, you get to save. And then when you Digicross later with this card, or even if you don't Digicross, you just go into Dark Knightmon regularly. Or by... Yeah, like, if you just go into Dark Knightmon at all, then you just have Security Attack +1. So this is pretty straightforward. So that was just me talking about the mainly the 6 3rd anniversary pack cards. The trainings are pretty self-explanatory. There is some nuance there, but definitely I will not talk about the nuance tonight. The other promos, Imperialdramon Dragon Mode Ace, I don't really like it that much. Veemon Davis, I love a lot. Ukkomon, Lui, I love a lot. Interestingly, I will talk about Ukkomon and Lui in maybe several different videos. Shadramon, again, I was thinking about Wormmon Armor Rush, so you could use this in Wormmon Armor Rush, but this is really good for Imperialdramon Virus. You can use this now. It's still very good in Imperialdramon Virus now, but it will be even absurdly better in BT16, comboed with the BT16 Wormmon. Knightmon, you can use this in Lord Knightmon, or you can use this in Jumbo Gamemon, whichever floats your boat. It's like, this is just already really good in Lord Knightmon, being able to DP minus something on play, but it can also DP minus something when digivolving. It has blocker, which is nice, especially if you get this into play from Lord Knightmon's effect. Now you have a blocker on the field, so you could keep this as a blocker for the next turn. And then if it's under Lord Knightmon's inheritable, as an inheritable, when you attack a different Digimon, or when your opponent attacks, you can just spam out Lucimons, or you can spam out Starmons, basically any yellow or black level 3 Digimon that you have in hand. So this is pretty nice for the Lord Knightmon deck. If you want to play this for Jumbo Gamemon, you can. This will just allow you to spam out Ponchesmons from your hand. If you wanted to use Chumons, you can, just because you want like more yellow-black Digimon. Multicolor, level 3. So there are not many yellow-black Digimon. There's like level 3 Digimon. There's like the Chumon, the Ponchesmons. I think that's it. Armadillomon in BT16. Chumon in EX5. Yeah, so we just have the 2 Chumons, the 2 Ponchesmons, and Armadillomon in BT16. That's really the only yellow-black Digimons that have been released or are revealed to be released. But realistically, right now, up until BT16, only Ponchesmons and Chumons. But yeah, this is pretty nice. If you combo this with the Jumbo Gamemon, then you will be able to steal turns more reliably. So instead of just having Digimon from sources to play out, and then Keen and Crier activating, then Miki and Megumi activating, you can play your Digimon from hand and then activate that way instead. So you have more ways to be able to steal memory during your opponent's turn, which is pretty nice for the Jumbo Gamemon deck. Morphomon, I will absolutely dedicate like entire video to. But yeah, this card is really good. You can use this in basically any color Eosmon deck you want. It's more like an option than a Digimon card. So just play this for 3. You get to search. You get to play out a free Manoa Bellucci. You get to slide this under your Eosmon. Eosmon level 5 attacks. You play out another Eosmon by effect. So you can Digivolve into Eosmon level 6 for 2 cost instead of 5 cost. And then that way you can delete something. You get that extra security attack 1 or extra security attack 2. And then you're swinging with a bunch of DP. So this is just phenomenal for the deck. I will tinker with my deck list and I will update you with what I have in mind. So I'm thinking about just keeping this in my red Gilmon based deck. I'm not even sure if I need to run Gilmon anymore, because now with new eggs like the BT14 Koromon, I don't really need Gilmon. I can just use this Koromon because now every red Digimon is basically almost like when attacking draw 1. So this could be better, this could be worse, depending on how your matchups go. But I might change the deck a little. I might make the deck more similar to Ukkomon Rush, where I use this Koromon, and then I just use a bunch of floodgates like Gotomon, Gaussmon. I feel like I'm forgetting something. But a bunch of the red floodgates. Yep, this is how I search for the floodgates. I just do level 3 and can't. But yeah, I might just run this Morphomon with Gaussmon, Gotomon, Solarmon, just like run these cards. Because like honestly, why not? And then like just keep rookie rushing, and then I might even throw in Ukkomon in there. Ukkomon works very good with Eosmon, especially for Eosmon Rush. And because Lui is a white tamer, Lui can also work very well with level 4 Eosmon if you want to throw in level 4 Eosmon deck in your deck. But yeah, Lui with level 4 Eosmon, phenomenal. So basically Lui bring out Digimon to spend. So you get a Digimon out, you get Lui out for 2 memory for the whole interaction. You play level 4 Eosmon instead, which then will play out Lui, and then Lui will then bring out a Digimon to spend to get 1 memory. So that whole interaction would cost 3. So for 3, you can just basically get level 4 Eosmon in play, get Lui in play, get a Digimon out ready to attack. For 3 memory, that's very good value. I just don't like level 4 Eosmon as much, because back then there were not really many good white tamers. You may play 1 white tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then your opponent may play 1 tamer card from their hand without paying its memory cost. So it's like, yeah, this doesn't really seem that great. I get to play a free tamer, but so does my opponent. But now with Lui, I now feel like, oh, cool. You know, this card can actually see more play now. Even if, you know, my opponent gets to play out a tamer, it's like, oh yeah, that doesn't really hinder me as much. I get to play a free tamer too. Back then there were not too many good white tamers, but now with Lui and Manoa, I think that level 4 Eosmon is making a comeback, even if you're splashing in different color decks. But yeah, this Morphomon, very good for basically any color. You can even Digivolve this off of your level 2 green egg if you want to go for a green base. Not even use the on play, but then it would still be very good, even just for the inheritable. RustTyrannomon ACE, I don't have much to say just because I don't really like this card. Yeah, I don't personally like it. I just like Abonwomon more. But it's just like a matter of preference. So to me, I just can't really talk much about the card. Diaboromon ACE, I like it. I like it especially if you play it in a Megazoo style deck. But it's really up to you how you want to play Diaboromon. If it's just up to me, I would just play Megazoo style. Get a bunch of Ohwadas into play, especially off of Mamemon, because Mamemon can just easily get your Ohwadas into play. So Ohwadas off of Motomiya, and then more Ohwadas means that when you digivolve into Diaboromons, you can get more tokens. And then more tokens means that you can delete higher play costs. And then SkullKnightmon, pretty straightforward, honestly. There's not much to say, just because this card is very straightforward. When this is laid, you get to play Ukkomon, Nene, or Kiriha and Nene. Possibly more Amanos later on, but those are the only tamer cards that you can play right now. You cannot play Amano Kawas. I'm just putting that out there. And then after you play your tamer, then you save. So this is pretty good value. This is the lead. You get to play a tamer, you get to save. And then when this is saved, you can digicross later. And then when this is inheritable, basically in your deck, it will always be active. But it will give your Bagra Army or Twilight trait Digimon level 5 or higher security attack +1. I guess it just won't be active under SkullKnightmon Mighty Axe mode. No. Mighty Axe mode. It just can't be active under here because it's not level 5 or higher. But it can be active under your Dark Knightmons, and even your Bagramon and your Darkness Bagramon, I think. But yeah, those are just like my thoughts about the promo cards. You know, obviously I'm more excited about some promos than others. Being someone who has played Imperialdramon Virus, I'm able to talk more about Shadramon than I am about other cards. You know, Lord Knightmon I haven't really played, but you know, like the traditional version. But you know, I have seen the version played, so I can still describe the deck. Jumbo Gamemon, I have seen it played on YouTube. I have tried playing it for a bit, but yeah, I can talk about the deck. RustTyrannomon, I wanted to try, but I haven't actually used this card out. So I'm not saying that this is bad, but I just do not prefer this card. So I don't have much to say about it. But yeah, these are the thoughts and opinions on this card, on these cards. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all soon. And definitely I will update my Eosmon deck. I just have not gotten around to revising it, but I can definitely say that this Morphomon is basically a 4 of, regardless of whatever color Eosmon deck you use, because it's just so good. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.